Trilateral Commission is a group founded by David Rockefeller in 1973. Again, a think tank. So all these organizations have David Rockefeller himself associated with them.
Well, you've also got big money and big banking here, both with the Rockefellers and the Rothschilds. So if you wanted to control the world, one of the things you need to be able to control is world currency. And both of those Illuminati family lines are very, very involved in world banking and currencies, as well as oil prices and manipulation of those sorts of things throughout the world.
Yeah, I in my research I watched an interview with David Rockefeller, and a man was asking him about some of his views. And on one hand, David Rockefeller, spouted out that anybody who thinks that he's trying to control the world are crazy. And on the other hand, when he was talking to him, he was talking about manipulating completely the world. So. I guess he kind of wants it both ways.
I think that they have a very specific and very strategic plan. I think they've been setting it out very meticulously for generations, and I think that they are very close to culminating their plans into further action that will affect the entire globe.
Yeah.
I would also like to say, we have a prayer hotline here at our ministry, and I've actually had a member of the Rockefeller family actually call. So it was definitely a confirmation to me that there is occult abuse going on in that family line.
They called because they needed help?
Yes.
Okay. So you're saying not just the stewards, but that you're pretty confident over all the contacts you've had that it's going, throughout all the families.
I believe there's satanic ritual abuse in each of those families, each of their children. I think there's tremendous abuse going on.
Yeah. Organizations, they've had an influence on a lot of companies. Is there anything, any companies specifically you can mention that have played a role in our everyday life?
Well, Shell Oil Company is an interesting company to take a look at. Queen Beatrix of the Netherlands owns Shell Oil. But you look at what tremendous influence and power Shell Oil has over America. So Shell Oil Company is an Illuminati company. I would also, will mention Monsanto Company. I don't know if you've done any research on that, but they are, I believe, an Illuminati company. My grandfather used to be the vice president of the company, and they are very involved in controlling world food supplies and controlling a patent on soy.
Is that right?
So
you know firsthand.
I know as a fact that there's a movie called Food Inc., where they go into some detail about that. But there is an agenda to control oil, energy resources, food, water, all of the various things that affect a population, so that they can ultimately control it.
Why do they want to control the food? Obviously they can control the population, but what is their thinking when they see people starving?
Population control. So if they can reduce the population, they have less resistance.
So the New World Order 10 Commandments in Georgia, that's a fact.
I believe that's absolutely true. I've worked with a number of survivors that were trained to affect water supplies, to affect food supplies. I believe that it is a strategy of the New World Order to affect food supplies specifically so that they can reduce populations at will.
Interesting. The Club of Rome, too, I think is something I forgot to mention, that was founded in 1968 by David Rockefeller. But what's interesting is, from my understanding, is they divided up the world into 10 regions. And when they talk about, the Bible talks about in Revelations, the 10 kings
Yes.
Yeah. That it could very well be from the Club of Rome.
Interesting that they chose the term Rome.
Interesting, you're right about that.
I think about Revelation, where it talks about the 7 hills of Rome in describing the end times. That could be a fulfillment of that.
Yeah, we had talked about symbols and different things that are really getting really dark, and one of the most common symbols is the all-seeing eye.
There are a couple of organizations that have the eye as part of their logo.
Yeah.
Dairy Queen is one of them. If you look at the Dairy Queen logo, it is an eye. So is CBS. The CBS logo is also an eye. So in the occult, the all-seeing eye, there are a number of meanings to that, and they're all related meanings. Part of the all-seeing eye has to do, especially in terms of occult abuse, has to do with being watched and being seen. It is actually the eye of Lucifer or the eye of Horus, and has very deep occult meaning, representing enlightenment in Luciferian or satanic arts.
Yeah, and so I want to talk a little bit about that. What I thought that we could do is just to give some people a clear picture, maybe a direction, is the city of London.
Yes.
It is the Illuminati center, so there's actually a place, and it's not London itself, but a city within the city of London they call it the city.
Oh.
And they have a coat of arms. And I'm going to show a video clip as you're talking about this of the different symbols they have there. But why don't you describe the coat of arms a little bit and what you see?
So when I look at this coat of arms, we've got 2 dragons. And the dragons are on opposite sides of the coat of arms. So for people that may not be familiar, a coat of arms is a meticulously symbolic representation, sort of like, I guess in a simple way, of a symbol like a mascot would be for a football team, but in heraldry, it's an ancient art where there's tremendous detail, and each little detail in the coat of arms has symbolic meaning. So when I look at this, for instance, there's a blood red sword, but it actually looks like an inverted cross. And of course, we know the dragon is mentioned in Revelation 16:12. But we can also see, I also see some arrows and some claws and some things that make it look to me as though the dragon is actually the ruling authority over this town in London. And one of the things I find fascinating about that is that Prince Charles' coat of arms also has the red dragon on it. And when he was coronated in 1969, he actually knelt before a red dragon.
Oh my.
So
interesting. And then the words themselves, Domine Dridge Nos, Lord guide us, I believe that means.
I believe that's what that means. Yes.
Well, I'm
not a Latin expert.
Yeah, we were talking about it earlier, and anyway, it's if it's not that, I think it's that, but it's something really close. And as you say, in the Illuminati, the Lord is a different Lord.
Yes, absolutely. So in the Illuminati, when they say "In God We Trust," they're talking about Lucifer.
Yeah.
And
at this city, as I'm playing the videos, there's all kinds of demonic symbols. It's a very dark area. They have a church there that doesn't look like a church. It's very dark and creepy looking, and it's known for hermits to go in there and hide in the sills in the dark places. And that's very creepy.
I also understand there are pagan and satanic rituals that are actually done out in the open, in
that area.
In that area.
Wow. We're about running out of time, so I'm going to want to finish just talking about a few of the organizations with the all-seeing eye, and then maybe have you talk about the symbols just a little bit. There's all kinds of symbols: the dragon, the all-seeing eye, the yin and the yang, the peace symbols, which is Nero's cross. It's an anti-Christian symbol.
In witchcraft, the peace sign is a broken cross, and it sometimes called a crow's foot. So it's a very occult symbol. It doesn't represent peace as we would expect peace in terms of the kingdom of Christ.
Yeah, I read that a communist set this up. They wanted a symbol that everybody could be part of, so they can kind of push their communist agenda, and under the guise of something happy like peace. I mean, who doesn't want peace? Everybody wants peace. So they've used the symbol to pass on to people. And the thing that's really sad, again, is, and I'm sure there's people watching this show that themselves or their kids are wearing this paraphernalia, and I'm sure my family would be too if I hadn't done a lot of research on this too. But I look at it as almost a bullseye for Christians in the last days, because it's really going to be God's people against communism and the New World Order and that whole agenda. There's going to be a division there with that. People need to be careful.
Absolutely. And there's there can be demonic infestation on these symbols, and so it is one way that the enemy can infiltrate Christian homes and Christian communities where people are ignorant of what these symbols mean, and as they buy these products, they're actually voting with their money. They're voting to propagate that and desensitize their children and the culture to what the true meaning is.